An astute technocrat, public sector administrator, and management consultant, Princess Adenike Adedoyin-Ajayi is a woman who has broken all the barriers and made her mark in the sands of time. Born in London, England in 1962, Princess Adenike is the second child of late Prince Israel Iretiola and late Princess Adeshola Olubumi Adedoyin. She is also the direct granddaughter of His Royal Majesty Oba W.C. Adedoyin Anoko II, the Akari Igbo and permanent ruler of Shagamu and Remo Kingdom. Princess Adenike relocated to Lagos, Nigeria with her parents, where she schooled and spent most of her childhood years. She had her primary education at Our Lady of Lourdes Nursery and Primary School, Surulere, Lagos, and then moved on to Jibril Martins Memorial Grammar School, where she had her secondary education. Princess Adenike studied dramatic arts at the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, where she graduated in 1982. She later returned to the United Kingdom to further her studies at the London College of Printing and Media Studies and the London University Film Institute, where she bagged a distinction diploma in media studies and photography in 1988 and another degree in cinematography in 1991. Her film project won her the prestigious British Academy of Film and Television Arts BAFTA Award and recognition as one of the best graduating film students for her set. From an early age, Princess Adenike's passion for storytelling and creativity ignited her path towards greatness. As a young talent, she lent her voice to various radio and television stations, leaving her mark on the media landscape in Nigeria. She also ventured into the world of advertising, working with renowned agencies and global brands. Her expertise in media and advertising flourished as she produced and directed several commercials, leaving a lasting impact on the industry. Crossing borders, Princess Adenike found her calling in the United Kingdom. As a civil servant in the UK's Home and Foreign Office, she served in numerous capacities, including her role as a career diplomat at the British High Commission in Abuja, Nigeria. Her astute leadership and management skills led her to make significant contributions in the public sector, earning her accolades and respect. In 2008, Princess Adenike was appointed as a Technocrat Director for the Lagos State Government's Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation. She held that position until her appointment as Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture for Lagos State. Her strategic vision and dedication proved invaluable as she spearheaded groundbreaking initiatives propelling Nigeria's economic growth and development. Throughout her illustrious career, Princess Adenike Adedoyin-Ajayi has amassed an impressive list of accomplishments. She played an integral role in the establishment of the J. Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History and led Lagos State government's Ease of Doing Business initiative, which earned Nigeria significant leaps in the World Bank rankings. Her relentless pursuit of excellence has garnered recognition and awards for her innovative contributions to public service. Princess Adenike's dedication to making a positive impact extends far beyond her professional achievements. As a widow of over 20 years and a devoted mother to her only son, she understands the importance of family and the struggles and challenges of single parenting. It is this empathy that fuels her commitment to serving humanity. Her voluntary work in counseling, mentoring and life coaching has empowered countless individuals, particularly widows, teenagers and young adults. Her motivational and inspirational speeches have resonated with audience across diverse platforms, igniting change and transformation. An advocate for healthy lifestyle, Princess Adenike currently runs a successful healthy meal catering service where she serves salads and other nutritious meal options to clients. Her commitment to promoting well-being and balanced living is not only reflected in her own life, but also in the services she provides to others. Prepare to be inspired as we delve deeper into the life and legacy of Princess Adenike Adedoyin-Ajayi, a visionary leader, passionate storyteller, and relentless advocate for positive change.
It's a lot of things to take on board, so you must have the ability to stand people's stories, because a lot of people have different stories to tell, and it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes when you're counseling, and so that helped me in that area to become a loss and bereavement counselor. It also helped me to decide that I'm also going to become certified as a life coach practitioner. It also helped along as I was working. I decided to come back to Nigeria after, doing all of these things, I already said to myself, like I said earlier, I'm a Nigerian babe, proper Niger babe. UK just didn't sit well with me. There was just something about the place. I was doing well. It's not because I wasn't doing well. I was actually a civil servant there. I was working at the Home Office. I was one of the top people there, you know. I mean, for you to rise to the position of a team lead of a department, you can tell that's really... So I was working at the Home Office in Luna House. I was also on secondment as a career diplomat to a few countries, Nigeria, Abuja being one of them. And it was after that I've always been saying, when I'm 40, I'm coming back to Nigeria. I didn't come back to Nigeria until I was 47. But what did I do? I never stopped. I kept my focus. I kept at it. I ensured that every year I would come to Nigeria so that people who know me, who can get a job for me, will not forget about me, so that I can also be in touch with the terrain, with what's going on, you know, being able to put my, like they say, like to shine my eyes and know where to go, what to do, who to ask for, where to leverage myself, where to pitch myself. I was doing all of those things. So somewhere along the line, I got a phone call, and the rest is history, like they say. I became still a civil servant, but in the Lagos State Public Service. I was employed at a new office that was transforming then. It was the era of Honorable Minister now, but he was governor then, Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola. And they had a new office because they were going through a reforms and transformation within the state government at the time. And he wanted to have technocrats, fresh minds, to run that office. The office was called the Office of Transformation. So I was one of those pioneer staffs that they brought, eggheads that they brought from the abroad, like they say at that time. They brought us from the abroad, you know, quite a few of us, so that we can have technocrats who will run that office, because they were very aware that, you know, you call in consultants will give you a little bit piecemeal and they will leave, and you have to call them back again, and then they'll give you another piecemeal and they will leave. So they needed to have that continuity of who will drive it. And that's why they engaged some of us. And that's the only way, because at the time, some people say, why don't they have people in the system? Can't they do that? But the people in the system, the new reforms and transformation policies that were coming on board, they don't have any idea. So they needed to inject new people that would bring in those fresh ideas into the system, and for them to be able to run it. And so I was one of the directors. I came in as a deputy director at the time, and then I became a full director, and I was running a lot of innovative ideas. There was the One-Stop Public Inquiry Services, OSPES. There was a bill, the Service Charter Initiative, which was all about service delivery. So for me, my own department was all about service delivery, driving service delivery, putting standards, service level agreements into how Lagos State, before then, the service delivery and, their deliverables had no measurement because they didn't see all of those things as tangible. The only tangibles they had were like projects. They were building this, they were building that. Those were tangibles. People can see it, but they were not measuring the productivity of the staff. They were not measuring the productivity of how services were delivered, and so that was one of the things that in my own department, that I was, looking after. It was called the Branding, One-Stop and Service Charter Department, BOS at the time. And that's still what it is now. So we were in charge of that, ensuring that there's ease of doing business. The Citizens Gate, which is, where people can relate with the citizens, just by the press of your button at the comfort of your home. You could report anything that was going on through the Citizens Gate portal and all of that. We had the One-Stop Public Service Inquiry, where every office then had a front office, not a reception, a front office. Is an extension of their office. And a lot of things changed when they started seeing this as a front office rather than a holding place reception. So we put in all of those things. Every etiquette that goes with the front office was there. There was accountability, there was management, there was measurement, there was service delivery agreements, there were turnaround times. All of these things, and they were documented. There was recognition and reward for those that were doing well. And we were naming and shaming the ministries and agencies that were not doing well. All of those things were put in place, to the glory of God. I left that legacy for them. I wrote a book, a service charter handbook. These are some of the legacies that I've left, for the state government. After that, I became a permanent secretary within the Lagos state government at the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. That's another whole new experience for me. But the beautiful part of my story is that I joined the public service of Lagos State, and I got to the zenith of any public service officer's career, becoming a permanent secretary. To the glory of God, to my own hard work and merit, I would say, I put hand to chest to say that yes, because I don't take my work with levity at all. I really, really ensure that I pour everything that I have into my work, and I'm grateful to God that all of those hard work, paved well for me to become a permanent secretary alongside some other of my colleagues. So, in a nutshell, all of those things have shaped my life. What am I doing now? Right now, I'm a consultant, management services consultancy. I'm also a life coach. I'm a counselor with specialty in loss and bereavement. I have a lot of mentees. I have a lot of adopted children, most of them boys. In fact, all of them are boys. Don't ask me why, they just gravitate towards me. I also have a son. So maybe that's why I have a way with guys. And I also believe that guys need to be men. Our male child, they also need to be nurtured. I think, in my own opinion, that everybody is concentrating on the girl child and they are neglecting the male child. And don't forget, it is this male child that you are neglecting, that the girl child that you are nurturing will eventually marry at some point. So it's very important that we also nurture our male children so that they can become the type of valuable husbands and fathers to all of the female children that we are nurturing, the girl child that we are nurturing. So that's me in a nutshell. I'll have to give that a very big, deep thought, because the personality that I have, perhaps, for some people, it might turn out as being negative. For some people, it might turn out as a positive attitude. The personality that I have is that of a very strong-willed person. And there are some decisions that I will make that will seem to be out of pride, because I probably will say, no, I can't do that. No, it's not worth it. No, this money is too... So opportunities will come, and I would say, no, I'm not taking it, just because of my own personal, innuendos, the personal way I feel and things like that. So maybe those type of things are now, I was younger then, but now I have come to learn that sometimes you stoop to conquer. Sometimes you eat humble pie because you have your eyes set on your goal. So you eat humble pie, but it doesn't mean that you are throwing away all your dignity. It doesn't mean that you are throwing away the personal pride that you have. It just means that you are able to analyze things better and be able to know that some things, these are the ways to go about them. Others, these are the ways to go about them. So those are some of the kind of things that I'll probably say if, the younger Nike didn't handle well. Some of them are like working out of big businesses that would have brought me a lot of things. Some of them were like working out of opportunities just because I felt their demands were not in line with the way that I wanted it to be. Interestingly, one of the things that I would say helped me to navigate my ways through the civil service is the fact that I got in when I was much older. I was about 47. So I was matured. And I was able to use that sense of maturity to navigate my ways. Oh, it was a lot of pushback when I got in. All of us that came from the abroad, like they call us, we will go to meetings and you'll see someone standing up at the directors' meetings and saying, I don't know why they are bringing people from what makes them feel that those of us that are here cannot do the work? How do you respond to such? But guess what? Some people within the system will actually get up and defend us and say to them that the only way to transform any place is to infuse new thoughts, infuse new minds, infuse technocrats. And, that would just pave way for us and say, there you go, somebody has answered the question. But personally for me, it was all about being very aware of my environment, ensuring that I was watching, observing, soaking in all the ways that people do things, and also letting them know the type of person I am. I wasn't hiding it. There's a lot of, not so due process ways of doing things that happens there. And that's, working in the system allowed me to realize that it's, sometimes it's not even the civil servants. It's the people that are trying to access services from the system. The people that are trying to access, I'll give you examples. I have friends, they'll come to me, oh, Nikki, I'm trying to get my CFO, I'm trying to get this one, I'm trying to get that. Princess, how can I do it? Please help me. I'll say, have you tried to navigate through the system? No, I will go there now. If you don't know anybody. I said, that's the perception that you all have, but it's not necessarily true. Have you tried to navigate? Just go there, start the process. Wherever you hit, a bottleneck, then let me know. And then we'll know how to sort it out. So sometimes, the perception is not, there's only a very, maybe, not even a 1/10 of civil servants that don't follow due process. The majority actually do their work. They do it well. I stand to say that, and I'm not being biased or anything. Majority do their work, but when people don't talk about their success stories or, when they navigate through the system, the public service. But whenever there's something wrong, that's when you get to hear it. And that sort of overshadows everything else. So there are ways that you can actually navigate through the system without knowing anybody. And there are some people who are coming already to corrupt the system because of what they want. You tell them a process takes 2 weeks. They're asking you to do it in 3 days or 4 days. And they'll be telling those people that are handling it, how much now? We will give them something. Don't worry, we will appreciate them. Do you understand? And depending on the level of person that they go to, the person the economy is bad. The money might be attracting to them. And so they'll find a way to fast track that person's process. Sometimes they can be successful. Sometimes they might not be successful. And that's why you will then hear the noise that, after collecting so much money from me and all of this and all of that. But, I would say 90 to 95% of public servants are not, corrupt. They follow due process. They say bureaucracy is in the hills within the public service. Bureaucracy is not necessarily a bad thing. It's how people deploy bureaucracy and turn it into bottlenecks and turn it into red tapes and toll gates. That's what is destroying the bureaucracy of the public service. Bureaucracy actually helps to put things in order, to ensure that there are proper processes, there are proper procedures, that everybody, no one is going to be the all-in and be-in all of making decisions on a particular case. It passes through different pairs of eyes. And that's what it means. So nobody's just sitting down and making a decision on somebody's, case or matter. It has to, everybody will talk and say their own and, put different perspectives there. And if there's someone that is not doing the right thing, they're able to checkmate that person. And it will be difficult for you to bribe everybody along the line. It's a bit difficult. And that's why we always say to people, just navigate yourself through the system. Personally, those are some of the things that I did. I really needed to know what the process was all about. I needed to know if I have, for example, I was reporting to a director general. I needed to know how my director general is, to observe his behavior, his traits. I know when to approach him. I know what to deliver to him. I know how to work with him. And I do that with every other person, giving respect where it is due, not bragging that I'm from the abroad, not trying to, in fact, I made conscious effort to ensure that my English was, like Niger English, because at the time that I came back, by default, because of the way you're used to speaking, you kind of want to speak like, yes, absolutely, that's correct, you don't do this, no, and all of that. But I needed to step down so that I could blend with the people that I've come to work with, made friends with the ones that I, but all of them were my acquaintances. And I also allowed them to know me for who I am. If it is not right, don't count me in. If it is not going to follow due process, don't let me hear about it. If I hear about it, I'm going to tell. If I don't hear about it, I can't tell what I don't know. And so, in fact, my nickname back then was Margaret Thatcher, Iron Lady, because of the way that, I was relating, the way I was doing my work. Everybody knows me there, that when it comes to crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, going through the due process, going through all of those things, that's me. Even when I became a PS, my commissioner once said to me, hey, my PS who can do due process for Jesus Christ. You understand? That's just, the kind of person that I am. And those are my own, integrity, my credibility, my values from where I am coming from my upbringing, and all of those things helped me to navigate my way without blemish through the system whilst I was a public servant. It was rough, it was tough, like I always say, but I retired meritoriously to the glory of God.
On and off effect of estrogen is taken away from your body every month. If 1 million people die, 68,000 of them were killed by alcohol.
Oh, that's not very far-fetched. Everybody knows that we are now in the 4th IR, which means 4th Industrial Revolution era. It's the era of digitization. It's the era of artificial intelligence, robotic intelligence, all of automation. And at first in Nigeria, it was creeping in on us, but we didn't accept it. Everybody was still doing the things the same old way until COVID came. COVID really plunged us into the new way of work, the new world of work. And the new world of work has also brought about the new way of work. So we have new ways of work now because of the new world of work. There's so many things that have come in, even in the public service, talking about working from home, flexi hours, talking about, you don't have to be in the office to do your work, talking about you can work in a place and dictate your hours. You can just tell them, I'm just going to be working for X amount of hours in this established or in this organization. There's so many ways. We are now even jettisoning the term job. The people are no longer, it's called the end of jobs. We are now in the era of the end of jobs. We are moving into the era of skill-based approach to work. For example, you can be a doctor and be a photographer. And you can go and work as a photographer. And it's no longer about your qualifications and your degrees and your certificates. It's now about your skills and your competence. It's called the skills-based approach to work. So those are the new things that is affecting both the public and private sector. I remember when I was in the public service and we're trying to help to ensure that the circulars that we have that are paper-based, when they want to have information, they print out circulars and they print them out paper and they get dispatch riders to take them to offices that are out of campus, like we call them, that are not in the mainstream Alausa secretariat. They get all of them, and it was and we said to them, there's WhatsApp. Let all of this, directors of HR get all of these circulars, electronically or via WhatsApp, and they can put it to their staff and all of those things. They were dilly-dallying. Change is very difficult to push. But by the time COVID started, they had no choice. They had to migrate. Now it's like they've never used paper because of the way things are moving. We're not able to embrace working from home properly because the public service didn't have the infrastructure well grounded at the time. Even some private sector are still struggling, with working from home, with flexi hours, with hot desking. There's so many things now that is happening in that space, and it is all because of the era of the fourth industrial revolution. And you know what? People are scared that artificial intelligence is going to take over their job. But I'll tell you, don't be scared. HR is one part of the world of work that would always be around, because whoever is going to input anything into the brains and the knowledge of the coding of the artificial intelligence are going to be human beings. And so all we need to do is to start skilling up and upscaling all our skills and competencies so that we can always remain relevant, no matter the re-engineering that is coming with the new world of work. If the Japa syndrome had been handled properly in Nigeria, we will still have people working and not necessarily Japaing. And how do I mean? You can have some organizations are doing it. You have a family, due to the economic situation, they want to migrate to another country. But you are telling that person, you can still keep your job. So the person will not wholeheartedly move away because they know they can work from wherever they are and still keep their job. So that talent retention will still be there. They will not lose that talent. But right now, they are losing the talent because there's nothing that is on ground for them to have their staff living abroad but still working with them here in Nigeria. Until we start embracing all of those things, the new world of work and the new way of work might be a bit difficult for us in Nigeria. Well, if we're saying an undergraduate, that presupposes that you're already in the university. So what I will tell you is that what are the course contents? How relevant is a syllabus that you're working with now in your university? How relevant are the course contents to the new things that is happening, to the new way of work and the new world of work? Would you be relevant when you graduate? Would you be able to get into the main work stream? Will you be employable, when you finish? Are there other things that you can be doing? There are so many other things that you can be doing that will not necessarily correlate with your degree, so to speak, or your certification. There are people that are doing things that are not even related to the courses that they graduated in. The creativity environment is one of the largest areas where you can find work. What is your passion? You need to ask yourself, where do you want to see yourself in 5 years' time? What do you want to see yourself doing? And start having little milestones for yourself. But because, for every footballer that goes on the field, I love football, by the way, for every footballer that goes on the field, including the goalkeeper, they want to score. That's the whole idea of any team is to score goals, including the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper, if the opportunity arises, they will score goals. So that goal post is your vision, is your goal. How do you get there? Footballer might need to go to the opposite goal post and come back before they can score a goal. It might mean turning around, going zigzag, up and down before they score that goal. It's all part of the plan. So your plan, no matter how much you rigmarole in between, make sure that at the end of the day, it aligns with what you want to achieve. So sometimes you might take 2 steps forward, 3 steps backward. But if those steps are intentional, if you are deliberately doing it because you want to get somewhere, then you are fine. But if you are just doing it because life was happening to you and it was just throwing you to and fro, you are not able to really, sustain yourself, you are not able to own your own, then you are on the wrong path. So what I will advise you, for you to survive and to thrive, you need to drive. You have to drive it. You are the driver of your survival and your thriving. You need to be focused on what you want to achieve. Just don't say, I'm also going to university because university is what will make me, I'm also a graduate. No, it's not about that. It's about your life after university. What then comes after? What do you do with it? You understand? I'm a cinematographer. I'm a dramatic arts graduate. But what am I doing now? Management consultancy. I'm a life coach. I'm a counselor. I'm a youth, empowerment person. These are the different things that I am doing because I have also allowed myself. Whilst I was working, I was training in those lines. I was planning 5 years before my retirement. I was already planning so that when I finally retire, I would have something to do. So life can happen to you sometimes, but you also need to plan your life so that life doesn't happen to you unprepared. So I always say there's a 6 P's. P as in letter P, the 6 P's. Prior proper planning prevents poor performance. I'll take that again. Prior proper planning prevents poor performance. So if you can take those people, plan well. You just don't plan. You have to be proactive, not reactive. You don't deal with things when they are happening. You envisage them before they happen. You have thought ahead so that when they happen, there's something that is called opportunity meets preparation. By the time I was going to get a job in Nigeria, my case was a case of opportunity meets preparation because I was already planning that if I get a job, these are the things that I'm going to do to move to Nigeria. Number 1, I had come to already settle my son in a school in Nigeria because I was planning. So by the time I got a job, he was already in school, in boarding school. I brought him from UK to boarding school. By the time I got the job, it took me 1 month to get myself to Nigeria. I got my letter in November. On the 19th of November in 2008. By the 1st of December in 2008, I was already in Nigeria to start the job. How was I able to do that? Because all the things that I needed to do were already, for the past 7 years, they were already in motion. I just needed to activate them. That's what is called prior proper planning that will prevent poor performance. Opportunity met my being prepared. That was why I was able to come and survive and thrive when I came to Nigeria, because I was already driving all my plans and strategies for opportunity to meet preparation. And that will be my last word for you out there. There are 2 sides to Princess. Princess Adenike, I have 2 sides. I have my professional, very stoic, very stern, very unyielding, unbending side. And I have my other side that is, my mommy will say, Allah in the room. That my very playful, very, very extremely playful side. I can be so nonchalant. I'm very playful. I take my life. You know, I have what is called, you know, the people call it work-life balance. I don't call it work-life balance. In fact, it's changing now. We call it work-life integration. That's what we call it now. Because nobody could find that balance. But when you integrate it, the balance will come. So I work hard and I play well. I don't play hard because hard is also a hardness. So I work hard and I play well. What are the things I do? I'm a very sociable person. I'm very, very sociable. I like hanging out. You know, I'm a jazz enthusiast. In fact, I like music in all its ramifications, but I particularly love jazz. If I didn't go to school, if I didn't get educated, I'll probably be a musician or somebody that is, you know, a band, following band or something like that. That's how much I love music. I love music a lot. I'm also very health conscious. I'm very health conscious, so I do a lot of sporting activities. I play golf now that I'm retired. I didn't have time for golf before I was retired, but now I play golf. I used to play squash, but because of my age, I'm still young. I'm 61 years old young. I don't play squash anymore because of the high impact. So I now play badminton. I've just started, so I play badminton. I swim very well. And I'm blessed with a beautiful estate that is very, you know, conducive. I walk almost every night, at least an hour. I walk. And if I can't walk within an hour, if I'm tired, I've walked 20 minutes, I'm tired, I come back inside. Nothing is my life. Nobody, I'm not in competition with anybody. Even all my sports, they will tell me, you know, how many handicap? I don't have any, I'm handicapped through and through. Don't tell me I have any handicap. Who won this one? And it's not about winning for me. It's about sweating it out. Do the exercise, you know, sweat it out, stay healthy, keep healthy. I like a healthy. I don't diet. I've never dieted in my life. I can't remember ever dieting. However, I try to maintain healthy lifestyle, healthy eating in all its ramifications. I hang out. I love to meet up with my friends. I love parties. I can dance. Hey, my mother will say, I can dance and I still dance. That's one thing. Even in church, they know me. The day I don't dance in church, they will ask me, Sister Adenike, Princess, what happened? Is there anything wrong? Is there anything the matter? Because they know that one of the things that everybody that's close to me knows about me is that I dance a lot. I love good music. It doesn't matter if it's English, if it's Akbala, if it's Fuji, if it's anything. As long as it's good music, I'm going on and I'm dancing. You know, so I'm an extrovert. However, I'm also very private. As much as I'm an extrovert, I'm very private. For example, like Doctor knows, I am not on any social media. They are begging me to be on it. I'm a ghost on social media. The only social media that I am on is WhatsApp. And even the WhatsApp is very close, you know, because I don't like the intrusiveness of everybody just, you know, sending you messages. You wake up and there are so many different generic, you know, stupid things and, you know, silly things. So I'm very private like that, you know, for me. But I'm not one that you will call a quiet person or you call an introvert. I am an extrovert. I am a socialite. I am not quiet in any way. I'm one of those ones that make your party bubble. So if everybody is quiet and sitting down, I'll go and ginger everyone and say, oh yeah, now what's going on, you know? So that's the kind of personality I have. And that's the way I also enjoy my life. That's my, you know, way of saying, what was the question again? What does Princess do that, you know, is not walk? Those are some of the things that I do. And I enjoy my own company. So I'm not one that I need anybody for me to enjoy myself. As you see me, I take myself to the movies. I go, one day I can just decide. In fact, there was a time almost every last Sunday of the month, as soon as I finish church, I'm going to one of the eateries or, you know, hotels, Protea, Sheraton, everywhere, you know. I have brunch, I eat there, enjoy myself, you know. My mantra, YOLO. You know what YOLO means? You only live once. And that's your once. Make it count in every positive way that you can, you know. So I also enjoy, I can be in my house for 1 week and not go out, and I'll keep myself occupied. From reading to watching television to playing games on my, you know, I've been told that we have to at age 60 so that we don't have Alzheimer's and some of those things. You have to keep your brain going. You have to keep, trying to. In fact, the new thing that I'm doing now is to remember people's phone numbers off head. Because I was told by a doctor friend, Dr. Biodun Ogunbo, that if you keep relying on your phone or other things to remind you of things, then your brain will not function very well anymore. So now I'm trying to remember people's phone. So if you tell me your phone number, I try to remember it so that I can have a memory recall and keeps my brain going. So those are some of the things that, I just ginger myself and I'm cool. I'm cool like that. Life is a journey. How you choose to navigate through that journey will determine where you get to at the end of the journey. Whatever you envision for your future will only come to pass if you work towards it. And whatever you work towards will only pay you well when you keep walking the walk and talking the talk. Because you can work towards it. Some people get to their destination of where they want to go and they don't make anything out of that place. So you can't afford to rest on your oars. That's what I'm saying. There's no time. There's a saying that there's no rest for the wicked. I don't like to say that. I always like to say there's no rest for anyone. Because life is a journey. And when you are journeying, you don't rest. You just keep going, you just keep going, you just keep going. You understand? But in that journey, you must find comfort for yourself. So you are either ensuring that you are sitting down comfortably, you make the journey as conducive as possible. One of the things about life is that there's always change. We can't do without. Change is the only constant. And so you don't envisage what's going to happen. You cannot tell what is going to happen, no matter how much you plan. I always refer to COVID. Nobody felt that COVID was going to happen. But when COVID happens, some people went mental. Some people could not hold it together. Some families actually broke up. Some families came together more. They bonded together more. And these are signs of what were your plans. How was your life before you got to where you are going, or as you are journeying through where you are going. So what I will say to you is that life happens, but you can also control what happens to you in life. Stay true to yourself. Identify your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities that abound, and the threats that comes with them. And in doing all of those things, make sure that your integrity is intact. Make sure that you are very credible. Honesty, truth, all of those values. Keep your values intact. Values are such a scarce commodity, very scarce now. Please keep your values intact. All sorts of values, moral values, social values, etiquette values, all of those values. Keep them, please. It might seem that you are not very popular because of those things, but at the end of the day, you'll be the best for it. Thank you very much.